We usually talk about nutrition, but this week is all about training. The off season is a very large amount of time, and you can either fill it up with things that improve your performance or things that take away. We're going to give you some strategies and tips to make the most out of the off season. Sleep is when our bodies really repair and recover and release all of these good hormones like human growth hormone. When someone doesn't have enough sleep, the body produces more cortisol, and it's not able to recover from hard training sessions. It's not able to rebuild muscle tissue that's torn apart during training.
I'm going to chime in now and give you our top tips for having the best sleep possible. So the first ones that come to mind is keeping your room super dark. So if you can get blackout curtains, or you can make sure that there's no digital screens in your bedroom so that there's no artificial light or any light at all while you're sleeping, you're definitely going to have a more deep and sound sleep. Another thing would be to keep your room a colder temperature. So you want to have a cooler temperature in your room, so it's going to make that sleep longer and deeper and higher quality sleep.
Between 60 and 70 degrees, usually around 65.
Another hack that we love is using a sunrise alarm clock, and not just your traditional alarm clock. Specifically, not having your cell phones in your bedroom is a really great habit to get into. We keep our cell phones in the kitchen, on the kitchen counter, so it's just nowhere near us when we're in the bedroom. It's just not a technology safe place. So we use something called a sunrise alarm clock that, instead of just a blaring noise to wake you up and just be like, "Wah!" like getting up in the morning, it's slowly 15 minutes before the alarm's gonna go off, it slowly gets brighter and brighter and then lets out these little bird chirping noises. So it's like waking up to the sun in the morning instead of waking up to a blaring noise.
It's a way more comfortable way to wake up.
My final tip for you on how to get the best sleep possible is to create a ritual before you go into bed. So it might be dimming the lights in your house so that your body starts to get used to, okay, this is sleep time. If you do this consistency in your ritual before bedtime, it's gonna give your body the signals like it's supposed to be preparing for sleep right now. Versus if you do something different every single night, like you go for training right before you go to bed, or you drink a coffee one day, or you decide to go play video games and you have bright lights in front of your face. Having a consistent routine before bed, whether that's, drinking a hot cup of tea and reading a book, or dimming the lights and sitting and having a great conversation, or whatever it is, journaling, having a consistent ritual before you go to sleep is going to help the body get into that sleep much quicker.
Finally, all of the research points to the fact that human beings need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is if they're shooting for 8 hours of sleep, they are lying in bed for only 8 hours. We know from research that it takes a little bit of time to fall asleep, and we're not asleep for the full time that we're in bed. We wake up for moments throughout the night, we go and pee. So in order to get a full 8 hours, we need to be in bed for around 8.5 to 8 hours and 45 minutes. A high training volume usually comes with an added risk of injury. So in a long off season, your training volume should go down. Use that time to do things that you wouldn't be able to do in other times of the year.
When you're ramping up for the actual season where you're actually going to be competing, that's probably the time where you're doing less things like trips or hiking outdoors or spending time doing extracurricular activities with your friends or staying out late, or really you might be sacrificing those moments of being with the people that you love. So the off season is a perfect opportunity to do stuff like that, whether it's going on vacation, eating a meal that doesn't necessarily fit perfectly in your nutrition plan, but gives you the opportunity to connect with the people that you love.
At the beginning of every off season, I always recommend people really figure out what their intention and what their purpose is for their next year. Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you want to accomplish? And what milestones do you need to hit along the way? If you find yourself lacking motivation at any point in your journey, simply reflect back on why you started this journey in the first place. Check in on where you are at on your milestones, and if you need to, set new ones.
An important thing to know when you're trying to get remotivated for the season in your off season is to know that motivation is not something that's just going to be there all the time. If we only did things when we were motivated to do them, we probably wouldn't get nearly anything done. And all of those professional athletes or amazing musicians, they're sometimes not motivated to do the things that they want to do. But reflecting, like Michael said, back on why you do things and understanding that you've made a commitment to some type of goal or commitment to some team or coach or process, really aligning with the fact that you're doing something just because you made a commitment to do it, keeps you in integrity with yourself and doesn't necessarily make you rely on that motivation so much, which can be fleeting, and some days it's there and some days it's not. After a long, grueling season, the off season is a great opportunity for you to refocus on your goals and what motivates you, as well as spending time with people that you love. Hopefully what we talked about today can help you make the most of your off season.